Hey, what's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking about NATO. I'm going to be going over first what it is, secondly, why you should be paying attention to it, and then third, how I'm personally farming volume on NATO. And if you don't care about any of these things and you're only here for the free referral code, then no worries, I got you. You can look at the code right here, and a link will also be pasted in the description box below. So with that being said, let's get started as I move my face to the side. Cool, so NATO is a perp DEX on the Ink chain. Ink is Kraken, the centralized exchange. It's Kraken's layer 2 on the Ethereum blockchain. And so you can think of NATO sort of as like a competitor to Hyperliquid, or a competitor to Lighter, for example. So it operates in that same space. And obviously, as Kraken, as they're building out their layer 2, they want to also include some of these important dApps on their blockchain, which is why NATO is important, to create that foundational layer of important apps on the network. And I think you should care about NATO for a couple different reasons. The first reason is that Kraken is potentially going to be IPOing next year in 2026, which means that this project of theirs, this Ink chain, is going to be pretty important going into that IPO. And if they are launching this Ink chain where they have not TGE'd for an Ink token yet, it might be important to start putting volume and start using the Ink chain to make you eligible for a decent size of a potential Ink airdrop. And then secondly, what's also important about using NATO is that the NATO application itself does not have a token yet. And so they plan on launching a token in the near future, which is what people are anticipating. And by using the NATO platform, it will make you eligible, hopefully, for an airdrop of NATO tokens as well. And the easiest way of getting on NATO and getting on the Ink chain is just depositing your assets onto Kraken's centralized exchange and then withdrawing your assets onto the Ink chain. That makes everything easy so that you can just easily get on the Ink chain. Now they have different sort of bridges you can use as well to bridge from, I think, like Ethereum mainnet over to the Ink chain. I personally have not used those bridges before, but that's certainly something that you could do as well. That's what NATO is, and that's why it's important and why you should be paying attention to it because we all want to make money in crypto. And the best way of doing that in a way that's relatively free is just by using the chains and hopefully becoming eligible for an airdrop. So, with that being said, this is the NATO homepage. And once you log into NATO using a referral link, which again I shared in the beginning and I'll share again at the end, you'll gain access to the portal. So this portal, NATO just recently launched actually, and you can see here that they actually don't have a lot of different like tokens that you can uh, you know buy and short over here. The list is pretty low, and because it's such a new application, but they're constantly rolling out additional tokens, and so keep that in mind as you begin trading on NATO if you so choose to. The next thing over here is they do have a vault. This vault is similar to HLP, where you are sort of the counterparty to people who are longing and shorting on the perpetual side of things. And the vault opened up recently. They have a cap of a TVL of $2 million, and so we're at capacity right now. But they launched this vault, I want to say less than a month ago, and I deposited $10,000, and now the value is $10,125. So I made over 1% in less than a month, which is pretty good. And one way, if you want to get into this NLP, this liquidity provider vault, the easiest way of doing that is just by following them on Twitter. So their Twitter account is NATO HQ. And if you just leave the alerts on, they will let you know when they are going to raise the caps so that you can ape your money into NLP. Cool. And then finally, they obviously have a point system, right? We all want points in crypto so that we can be allocated a potential airdrop. No information has been shared yet on what the points allocation looks like, but obviously, as you do volume and as you refer other people, then you hopefully will qualify for a decent sized airdrop. Now, going into how I'm personally farming NATO. If you have been paying attention to the markets, I think it's pretty obvious that we are now in a bear market. The 4-year cycle is most likely over by all accounts. And so I think it makes sense to play this by going short on some important assets that have a lot of headwinds coming in their direction. So I'm personally shorting Ethereum. I think Ethereum is probably one of the easiest assets to short with relative certainty that the price will go down over time. And the reason why I think that is because there's a lot of things happening pretty soon. One of the important things happening is with MicroStrategy and how they potentially will become delisted from the MSCI index. And so this decision is going to be happening on January 15th, right? This is a massive headwind for crypto as a whole. If MicroStrategy's MSTR is delisted from the index, I think there will be a ton of outflows, a ton of people front running that information. So Bitcoin will decrease in value, and subsequently whenever Bitcoin drops, sneezes just a little bit, all the other assets tend to take a huge nosedive, Ethereum being one of those assets. So this is something that I'm very much paying attention to. January 15th is a very important date. The next major headwind for crypto and specifically for Ethereum, I think revolves around Bitmine. So Bitmine is a company, it's a DAT ran by Tom Lee, who is pretty famous on CNBC. And they've essentially been buying so much of Ethereum that they've been propping up the entire Ethereum price or the entire Ethereum chart just on their own backs. And if you look at the chart of altcoins, the vast majority of altcoins have taken a huge nosedive ever since October 10th. And Ethereum, strangely and oddly, has not as well. And it's actually outperforming Bitcoin over the past few weeks as well, which is very, very strange. And I think the reason why it has been outperforming is because strictly of Bitmine's purchases of Ethereum. Now, I think that there are some very real signals that Bitmine may slow or even halt their Ethereum purchases. And therefore, when they stop being a continuous buyer of Ethereum, the price of Ethereum can only go down and it will match the other altcoins that have plummeted massively since October 10th. So let me point your attention to a couple different things. Number one is that their goal is to own 5% of Ethereum. I think they're getting very close to that goal. And so once they hit the 5% figure, their purchasing of Ethereum will drop. They want to be conservative and hold on to a bigger cash position. And therefore, I think there will be less buying of Ethereum once they hit this target number. The next thing to keep in mind is their overall cash position over here. So they tweet every once in a while, the financials of Bitmine, and it's important to keep in mind how much cash they have on hand, because this cash represents their ability to continually purchase more Ethereum, and also the fluctuation from this number to the previous number tells you how much they purchased of Ethereum, if that makes sense. And so keep in mind that this number may decrease over time, which means that there's less money for them to continually buy Ethereum in the future, which means that they've bought most of the Ethereum in the past. I hope that makes sense. And you can keep track of those purchases by kind of expanding some of their tweets. So this is on December 22nd. If you expand this tweet here, you can see specifically how much Ethereum they've been buying each week. So for example, in the last week, they bought, just under 99,000 ETH. The week before, they bought about 102,000 Ethereum, and then the week before that, they purchased 138,000 Ethereum. So this number you can see is trending downwards. And I think it will continue to trend downwards as they get close and hit that 5% Ethereum number. Again, they're looking to buy 5% of the total supply of Ethereum, which is a massive amount of it. But once they hit that number, the buying will halt. And therefore, if there's less buyers, but the same number of sellers, the price can only go one direction. Okay, so that's essentially how I'm playing these perp dexes, specifically NATO. Again, I do think it is important to at least pay attention to NATO and the ink chain. So you can do your own research here, but Kraken is one of the companies that are anticipated to be IPOing in 2026. And I think it would look really great for investors if they launched, if they have a token, if the chain is running smoothly, if everyone's happy. And so, therefore, it might be in your best interest to pay attention to the ink chain as well. All right, that's everything from me. Again, my referral code is up here, and you can also click the link down below. Right now, I only have 7 invite slots left. So once they get used up, the referral code will no longer work. So it'll be first come, first serve. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys have fun farming the ink chain and NATO. I will catch you guys next time. See ya.